Welcome to Instacast.
All right, back again for day 5 of this penny to 100K challenge. Things are getting interesting. This YouTuber's journey has had it all so far. And, we're all about finding those little pieces of wisdom that you can apply to your own life. Doesn't matter if you're, an aspiring entrepreneur or just someone who loves a good hustle story.
It's so fascinating to see how this challenge is playing out, from trading trinkets all the way to online marketing. It's changing so fast. And now I think we're at a really important point, how to be resourceful when the pressure is on.
Yeah, this is where we really see what he's made of.
Right.
The first 4 days were quick wins, clever thinking. He even got to stay at a friend's place for a bit. But now he's out there on his own in Amsterdam. And that clock, still ticking.
Don't forget, he's really committed to this idea of starting from nothing. No favors, no asking his audience for help. He's pushing himself to the limit.
It's impressive. I'd be so tempted to ask for help. But he's sticking to his plan. Even he runs into Carlos, a former student from his online course. You couldn't write this stuff.
It's crazy, right? Like something out of a movie. But instead of taking the easy route, a free place to stay, he says no to Carlos. He sees this as a chance to learn, even if it's hard.
Let's break this down for a second. What do you think is behind his decision to stick to the challenge rules, even when there's an easy way out right there?
I think it shows a real commitment to growing as a person. It's easy to justify accepting help-free place to stay. Who wouldn't? But he's choosing the tough path. He knows the value of relying on himself, of pushing his boundaries.
And I think there's a lesson there for all of us. We get comfortable with what we know. But sometimes the best experiences come from doing things that are outside our comfort zone.
Absolutely. And this time, that discomfort pushes him to find a hostel and figure out his next move, making money. So he just walks into offices and offers his marketing skills. Talk about bold.
Right. He's not waiting around for things to happen. He's making them happen. And it shows how proactive he is, this drive to get things done, even if it means getting rejected.
What I find really interesting is how clear he is about what he's good at. He doesn't just go in asking for any job. He finds a need like that company with a weak social media presence and presents himself as the answer.
You're right. He takes a problem and turns it into an opportunity, offering a free presentation to prove his skills. It's smart, it shows confidence, and he's willing to give value first.
That's so important for building trust, especially when you're starting with nothing. It's like he's saying, I'm so good at this that I'll show you what I can do before you even pay me.
Now, while he's out there hustling, he meets this freelance marketer. And their conversation, pure gold. He finds out that building websites is in high demand, that it could be a really good way to make money. This chance meeting totally changes how he's thinking about earning income.
This shows why market research matters and why you have to be open to new information. He could have just stuck with social media marketing, but he was curious. He asked questions. And that led him to a possibly better way to earn money.
Like the saying goes, you don't know what you don't know. It's like a real-life example of that. Networking and talking to people, you never know what you'll learn.
You got it. And this new knowledge leads him to change his strategy. He's not just a social media guy anymore. He can help businesses build their online presence. That means more potential clients and more ways to make money.
Okay, so now he's at a hostel, he's got some leads, and he's offering more services. But we got to talk about the elephant in the room, his finances.
This is where it gets real. He's completely open about his spending. The hostel, his co-working space membership, even food. He's working with very little money. Every decision counts.
And you see him really thinking those decisions through, even debating if you should spend money to work from a cafe or stay at the hostel to save a few euros. It's a balance a lot of us know, needs versus wants.
It's what so many entrepreneurs deal with, especially early on. Every dollar matters. You're always weighing what you'll get back for every expense.
Absolutely. So by the end of day 5, he manages to get his total up to $600. Not bad for a day's work. All that hustling, networking, and making tough choices.
Really impressive. But you can tell he's starting to feel the pressure. Tired, mentally drained. It reminds us that being an entrepreneur takes a toll on you emotionally.
It's not all fun and games. You need resilience, you have to adapt, and you got to be driven to handle the ups and downs.
And that's exactly what we're seeing him do. He knows he's tired, but you can see how determined he is. That grit is what keeps him going. That's something we can all learn from, right? Whether we're trying to build a business or learn a new skill, even just sticking to a workout plan, you'll have those moments of doubt, of exhaustion, when giving up just seems easier. But it's that push, that's what really makes the difference.
It's about digging deep, finding that resilience. And I think people watching him really connect with that.
Absolutely. He's not showing us some perfect, polished story. He's being real, showing the tough parts of the hustle, the long nights, the budget struggles, how draining it is. It makes his experience feel relatable, something we can all learn from.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that success isn't a straight line.
Mm.
There will be setbacks, times when you question everything, but it's about picking yourself up
Yeah.
and finding a way to keep going.
That's a message that applies to anything you're passionate about, not just business. Anything where you're pushing yourself to achieve something.
You know, there's this one thing he said in his day 5 reflection that stuck with me. He said he could live in that hostel for a year, which sounds a little strange given the situation.
Right, but I think it shows how adaptable he is, how he's finding a way to be content even when things aren't ideal. He's focusing on what he needs to do and not letting the simple surroundings bother him. It reminds us that happiness isn't about fancy things or luxury.
It's about finding joy in the moment, right? Even when you're outside your comfort zone, working with limited resources.
And that change in perspective is so important when things get tough. Finding the good even when things are chaotic. And using that to keep moving forward.
Let's go back to his marketing efforts for a minute. What do you think of how he approached those businesses? Walking right into those offices, he seems so confident.
It's a mix of things, I think. He knows he's good at what he does, he explains his services well, and you can tell he genuinely wants to help those businesses.
It's not a sales pitch, it's like he's having a conversation with them. He's listening, figuring out their problems, and showing them he's there to help, not just sell something.
Exactly. That approach, like a consultant, that's what makes him different. He's not selling a product, he's selling a solution. And people respond to that.
And then there's that chance encounter with the freelance marketer. Amazing how a casual conversation can change everything.
What's interesting is how open he is to learning. He goes into that conversation with a curious mind, asking good questions, and he comes out with some seriously valuable information about website development.
He's not afraid to say, I don't know. He wants to learn, understand trends, and change his plan based on what he finds out.
That's what successful entrepreneurs do. They're always learning, growing, and adapting their approach.
Let's rewind a bit and talk about him saying no to Carlos's offer. It must have been really tempting to say yes.
Oh, totally. But him refusing shows how dedicated he is to this challenge. It's not just about the money. It's about growing, learning, and proving he can do this on his own.
It's about doing things the right way, even when there's a shortcut.
And it reinforces that the journey matters just as much as the destination. He's choosing to face those challenges head on because he knows there's value in overcoming them.
His honesty about money really stood out to me. Showing receipts, breaking down expenses, no secrets.
It's so refreshing, right? So much of entrepreneurship online is all about, look how successful I am stories. He's being real, showing how tough the finances can be when you're starting out.
And that openness is so helpful for anyone wanting to do something similar. It makes it less mysterious, shows how important budgeting and financial skills are, and proves that success often comes from planning carefully and not spending carelessly.
He's not just telling people how to make money, he's showing them how to handle it, how to make smart choices, prioritize what they really need. It's a great lesson in being responsible with money.
And it leads to those moments we can all relate to, like when he's deciding between working at the hostel or spending money on a cafe.
The classic struggle. Trying to save money, but also knowing that taking care of yourself and having a good work environment matters too.
Finding that balance between saving and self-care. And sometimes spending a little to work in a better place can actually make you more productive.
Exactly. It's about finding a way to keep going that's good for your wallet and your well-being.
Yeah, it's about finding that balance, pushing yourself without burning out. And this challenge, it's intense.
No kidding. It shows how being an entrepreneur takes more than just a good idea or even knowing how to make it work. You got to have the mental toughness to deal with problems, bounce back from setbacks, and never stop believing in yourself.
And that's what we see him doing as day 5 wraps up, right?
Yeah.
Tired, limited budget. But man, that determination. He's showing everyone that success isn't about luck. It's about hard work and not giving up.
He's a great example of how the path to success is never easy or predictable. There are always going to be problems, roadblocks, times when you wonder, why am I doing this? But it's that choice to keep going, even when it's tough. That's the real journey.
You know, it's cool to see how this challenge isn't just about turning a penny into $100,000. It's about showing what's possible, challenging the way we think, proving that there are different ways to succeed.
He's encouraging everyone to think differently, to look past their limits and try things that might seem crazy. He's proving that with the right attitude, some creativity, and a willingness to try new things, you can find opportunities where others just see problems.
It's a message of believing in yourself, showing what humans are capable of, reminding us that anyone, no matter where they come from or what they have, can achieve amazing things with passion and hard work.
That's something we can all learn from. Entrepreneur, student, anyone who wants to make a change. This challenge shows us that if we have the right mindset and keep working at it, even the biggest goals are possible.
As we finish our deep dive into day 5, I have a question for you. What would you do to make money if you were starting from zero in a new city? It's something to think about. What skills would you use? How resourceful could you be? What's possible outside your comfort zone?
It's a challenge to try new things, to get creative, to see the potential that's inside all of us.
That's a great note to end on. Make sure to join us next time as we follow along with this incredible journey and discover all the valuable lessons he's learning each day. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing yourself to see what's truly possible.